Some people are familiar with the concept of a moral panic. You know, a moral panic is like the McMartin preschool, oh my God, satanic ritual abuse of children, the freak out in the Reagan administration around HIV/AIDS. Oh, it's a gay disease. Look out for gay people. I mean, there's been a bunch of these over the years. Those were from the 80s. More recently, we had, you know, the whole bathroom bill thing. Oh my God, trans kids are going in the wrong bathroom, and we know it's a nefarious. You know, it's like the Republicans are constantly looking for these moral panics, and you know, I think it's. Well, back in the 80s, Tipper Gore was, you know, the lyrics on these songs are going to poison our kids. The rave culture thing in the 90s, you know, this British girl died after taking one ecstasy pill, and suddenly it was all over the place. Oh my God, ecstasy, and it turned out it was being funded by the alcohol industry. The the advertising campaign to promote the moral panic against ecstasy and raves. This was in the 90s. You know, more recently we've seen Islamophobia, the moral panic around Islam right after 9/11 in the United States. In 2008, when Barack Obama became president, Donald Trump started pushing his birther conspiracy, another moral panic. Oh my God, he's not actually a legitimate American. You've got the moral panic of caravans coming to the southern border that Trump was trying to promote. And as I mentioned, the moral panic of bathroom hysteria. And there are others. Maybe you know of some. You share them with us. But the point of my op-ed today, while pointing these things out, and that this whole critical race theory is just another moral panic, it's just another, oh my God, you know, freak out, is that everybody is focusing on the tool rather than the goal. The tool is moral panic. It's just a tool. So who are the people promoting this, and what is their goal? Nobody's talking about this in the media, and so I decided, you know, damn it, I gotta write this down. And that's what I did this yesterday afternoon, and it's over at HartmannReport.com today. Here's how it works. Imagine you're a libertarian billionaire who doesn't believe in public education and sees any kind of taxpayer-funded effort to support the general welfare or the underclass, as the right-wing billionaires might refer to all the rest of us, I guess, as an absurd waste of the tax dollars that you work so hard to earn and the government wants to come and take from you at the barrel of a gun. So you got your libertarian billionaires. Imagine that you're a leader in the Republican Party. And you're looking at the Fox News demographics. The average age of Fox News viewers is 70. And you're thinking, you know, we need to reach out to 30 and 40-year-olds because those are the ages when people start getting into politics. We need to get them into politics at the local level, like school boards, so that we can then move them into state legislatures, move them into governor's positions, move them into U.S. Congress. You know, most politicians actually started out at the local level. County boards, school boards. School boards are one of the most common entry points into politics. So you're a Republican politician, you're trying to figure out, how do we get more young people into Republican politics? Get them on the school board. Imagine you're a multimillionaire white evangelical preacher, and you're looking for an issue that can more tightly bind you to your congregation. How can you freak them out and say, we're going to save you, I'm going to save you? Because after all, your congregation is your donors. So you become a crusader to save kids from a terrible fate. Imagine you're a white supremacist militia leader, and you want to expand your base. You want to bring in more middle-class white adults, and young people for that matter. But you want an issue that isn't going to end you up in jail. Here we go. Or imagine you're a Republican politician who's looking at, you know, particularly in the House of Representatives, every 2 years there's an election, or locally, whatever. You're looking at a primary challenger from your right. How do you prove your bona fides? How do you prove that, you know, yes, I am a culture warrior too? Well, all five of these groups of people, the libertarian billionaires, the Republican Party leadership, the white evangelical preachers, the white supremacist militia leaders, and the Republican politicians, all of them benefit from this critical race theory moral panic. These are the crisis actors, to use Alec Jones's phrase. And this particular moral panic has, deep roots, particularly when you look at, the whole Betsy DeVos thing about, well, this is what she said over at Fox News. She said, because wokeness is the left's religion, banning critical race theory and the 1619 Project won't fix the problem. The liberal education establishment will simply rename, rebrand, or repackage those insidious ideas to get around so-called bans. So the solution? Well, we have to just destroy public education. Replace them all with for-profit charter schools so somebody can make a buck off education. Come on, guys. But that movement, which I think is the largest part, frankly, of the whole critical race theory moral panic. It's an attempt to destroy public schools and destroy the unionized teachers who work in them. Has deep roots. In 1954, after the Brown v. Board decision of the Supreme Court said you can't have legalized segregation in your public schools anymore, entire counties shut down their schools for a year. You had this explosion of all-white, so-called Christian academies all over the country. You had places like Bob Jones University, and then Jerry Falwell started Liberty University. And, it was all about, hey, the safe place for white people, now that Brown versus Board. Back in the 70s, when I was working in radio, I was doing news in Lansing, and for a short while, I was also helping produce the Chuck Drake Show. Chuck Mefford was one of the owners of WITL. Good guy. He's passed away now. But he did an afternoon talk show every day on the station that I was doing the news for. And I would sometimes help him produce that show. And I remember this whole issue about, why should I pay property taxes when I don't have kids anymore? My kids are all grown up. Why am I paying property tax? Or I never had kids. Why am I paying? This attack on public schools, like I said, it started in 1954. It morphed in the 1970s. Out of this came in the 1980s the charter school movement with the encouragement of the Reagan administration, and then in the 90s with the encouragement of the Clinton administration. And now it's a big business. In Washington, D.C., for example, there are as many charter schools, making profits for their investors as there are public schools. So this, as I see it, every group wins in this. Every one of these 5 right-wing groups, they all win with this moral panic. And particularly the billionaires and the Republicans, as is usually the case. And the only losers, frankly, are black people, school kids, and history. And school kids don't vote. History doesn't vote. And black people, well, the Republicans are looking at that going, we can purge them off the voting rolls. We can force them to stand in line for 10 hours. And then when they get there to vote, we can give them provisional ballots so we don't have to count. So they figure, we got this one under control. But I'm telling you, by the month after the election in 2024, by December of 2024, and maybe by December of 2022, this moral panic will be over. It will have served its purpose. It got Glenn Youngkin elected in Virginia as the governor. It's this is going to be used big time in 2022. We'll see if it still has enough juice to be used big time by Republicans in 2024. But don't worry, when this one goes away, the Republicans will come up with another one, right? They'll come up with a brand new moral panic. What's it going to be? Hispanics? They've got to have a racial moral panic. They've been going after black people for quite a while now. Is it going to be Hispanics next? Or Asians? How about religion? They've kind of done their thing on Islam. Are they going to go after, like, Sikhs next? Hindus? Or how about gender and sexuality? They've gone after trans kids. They went after gay men, the whole AIDS things. And then they went after trans kids with the bathroom bill. What's next? Lesbians? Who are they going to go after next? You can bet your bottom dollar that as I'm speaking, the younger versions in the GOP of Newt Gingrich and Frank Luntz are focus grouping their next moral panic as we speak. In fact, when you dig into it, you discover that the critical race theory moral panic took a year. It was a whole year in its development and its promotion, principally via Fox News.